Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the In the Company of My Kids podcast. I'm Nikki Lewis, also known as Mommy Seed. And if you have kids and have an entrepreneurial drive, this podcast is where you'll learn to make some real money with your kid as your partner through YouTube. Now, in our last episode, we talked about storytelling and how that is the key to get your audience coming back to your channel over and over again to watch more and more of your videos, which is how your channel grows. And I promised you that I would continue that discussion today. So this is part 2 of the discussion on storytelling. Now I have to tell you, I'm in my car today. I just had to get out of the house. I mean, we all have been stuck at home in quarantine, and it can drive you a little stir crazy sometimes. And today was one of those days I just had to get out of my house. And a lot of times I work in my car. Am I the only one who does that? I'll just take a drive, take my laptop, and just work in the car. And that's what I'm doing today. You'll see I'm just like sitting in a parking lot with some stores around me. I think I'm going to go get some lunch in a second. But I wanted to go ahead and do this podcast right now because in the introduction episode 000, I told you that I'm going to be getting this content out to you no matter what, with or without makeup, in my loungewear, and now in a parking lot. Whatever it takes to get you this information, because I really want other people, especially other Black people, to take advantage of the opportunities that are online and on YouTube because others have. I'm all about leveling the playing field, right? We should all have equal access to opportunities for growth and success for our families. So that's what I'm all about. And we're going to get into it. While I got some good sun here and I don't have to worry about the reflection of my glasses. Listen, this podcast is just getting started. And if you've been watching on the Mommy C channel, I know I've been having some reflection on my glasses issues. I'm trying to get my lighting perfect. And I typically don't record with glasses, or I'm moving around a lot, but sitting in front of the camera is a different story. So let's get into it. Hey, if you are getting value out of this podcast, I have to ask you to click subscribe and click that bell to turn on notifications. That way you'll know when I release new information for you, and it'll really help me out. And if you really like what you're hearing, click that share button and share it with a friend. So from part 1, you know that storytelling is the key to get the audience to come back to your channel to watch videos over and over again. But what if I told you you can know which stories are the best stories to keep them engaged and really make them watch your videos from beginning to end, coming back over and over again? You want to know that? Well, I promise that by the end of this episode, you're going to go from not knowing which stories to tell, having no idea which stories you should be telling, to having a notebook full of ideas of stories you can tell on your channel. But first, I have to tell you about something I'm super excited about. When I'm not listening to a podcast or watching a YouTube video, I'm reading a book, or usually listening to a book. I use Audible, which is books in audio form, to help me continue to educate myself, even if I'm on the go, or should I say in the shower, because that's where I listen to a lot of Audible books. I've read a ton of books through Audible, some educational, some might just be fiction or comedy, and there are thousands of books on there. And since you and I are in business with our kids, I'll let you in on a little secret. I like to get my kids the physical copy of a business book, age appropriate, depending on what age they're at. And then I'll get the Audible version, so I can just speed through reading the book that they're reading. That way I can have talks with them about what they're reading, and it doesn't take away from the books that I'm reading on my own. One of the first business books I had them read was The Positive Dog by John Gordon. It's a super easy read for kids and very good at getting them into the right mindset as they start their business journey. And you can get it, or most any book, on Audible by going to nikkilewis.net/audible. And guess what? When you go through that link, you're going to get your very first month of Audible absolutely free. Yes, so go ahead to nikkilewis.net/audible right now. As an Amazon associate, I earn a small commission for your qualifying purchase, but there's never an extra cost to you. Okay, so you want to know how to get your notebook full of story ideas. Now, in the introductory episode, I talked about this, but when we first started on our YouTube journey, we currently have 4 channels, and our main channel is Loose Seeds. When we first started, though, we did videos in every niche. We were just doing all kinds of videos. And because we did that, we weren't attracting one audience. We were attracting all kinds of people. And you really can't grow that way because the YouTube algorithm gets too confused. You're putting your videos in front of, if you put a video out about ASMR, and you have an audience coming to watch ASMR videos, when they get to your channel, they might see 1 or 2 videos, but then you've got videos about challenges and you have videos about skits and all kinds of things. And they're like, I'm not subscribing to this channel. I'm not coming back because I really just want to watch ASMR. So you do not want to do a variety of videos, and that's what we were doing. Now, how does that factor into storytelling? It factors in because you have to consider your audience. And who was our audience, right? Because we were attracting all kinds of different people. Yeah, so consider your audience. And with that, you have to remember that you are on YouTube. Your audience, they're not sitting in a movie theater where they're dedicating 2 hours of their life to your story. Their expectation on YouTube is different than if they were in a movie theater or on some other platform. So respect the platform. Now, there are exceptions to that because some channels do have long form video and they've trained their audiences to watch that kind of content and the audiences come back. But typically, it's difficult on YouTube to pull a Sixth Sense. This might be a spoiler alert, so cover your ears for a minute. But with Sixth Sense, a big shot came at the very end of the story. Now, most audiences on YouTube, they are not going to wait for that. They want you to engage them fast and frequently, all right? One of my mentors, Daryl Eves, my YouTube mentor.
Hey, Nikki.
He says to front load your videos, meaning put your action up front, because that's what people are going to expect, or they're going to click and go somewhere else where people are front loading their videos. So going back to our story structure that we talked about in the last episode, your Act 1. With your Act 1, your beginning should jump right into the action and then quickly introduce the conflict to keep your audience engaged. Another thing is to study your competitors. Now, those are channels that have the same audience you're looking to attract. And I use the term competitor loosely because I don't really consider them competitors on YouTube because their actions can actually help your actions, your efforts. We'll talk about that in a future episode. But if it's a channel that's on the grow, right? They're consistently putting out content that's getting good views. Take a look at what type of content they're releasing. What's the pace of their videos? Look at those videos. Comb through the comments. See what the audience is looking to see. Now, of course, when you produce your video, you're going to put your own special touch on it, right? But now, after doing that research, you're going to have some insight into what your audience likes. So for this research, I usually get the kids to help me with this. And, you are in business with your kids, so get them in on this. As a matter of fact, get them in on everything you're doing in your business because you guys are partners. You may be learning together. This might be all new information to you. But while you're learning, you want to let them learn as well because soon they'll be taking over the task and freeing up your time so you can go on and move on to some other tasks, which is what my kids have done. So I've trained them in a lot of different areas, and now they just go off and they can do these things in our business on their own, which is a great feeling because there's a lot to get done and it's nice to have some help. And it's not really help because it's their business as well.
What is happening? And you're gonna... Mommy C, what are you doing?
Just checking out your directing skills. You're doing a great job. Continue. Bye-bye. So anyway, for our Lucy's Kids channel, I get Nadia to go ahead and do that research, looking at the other channels, other competitor channels, to see what's trending, what's popular, what people want to see right now. Because the audience for that channel is typically her age. We do a lot of funny skits for kids on that channel, and that's her audience. Some of these titles.
Okay.
What do you see?
This one is the best doing video, going video. It's family daily routine, but the thing is, that was 8 months ago, and you kind of already did something similar to that. So.
Right. The number one question I get asked is, how can my family and I start a YouTube channel like you and your family? Or my kids keep saying that they want to start a YouTube channel. How can we do it? Well, we're going to be diving into those exact details in this podcast. But in the meantime, I've put together a free cheat sheet for you. To get it, just go to nikkilewis.net/freebie. Then the next thing is to just put your magic on it. You've done all this research, but now you got to put your magic on it. It could be just your personality, right? That alone is going to set you apart from other people. Or maybe you have some special skills you're sharing with your audience. And also the characters that you bring to your videos, whether your videos are fiction or not. If it's real life scenario, you could be doing vlogs, but you still have a character. Let me tell you about ours. So with our skit channel, obviously we have characters on that channel based on what we're doing. I'm Tika, your babysitter. I almost had a connection. What are you doing on Cattywampus in the corner over there?
Huh?
But even on our Lee Seeds channel where we're doing family fun challenges and we're really showing our real selves, we still have a character on that channel. So in our videos, if you watch them, you can tell that Nigel's like the cool teenage boy. He always is, just doing something where he kind of just shows his coolness. Nadia is just like extreme hype. We just call her baby hype because she's always just exploding and doing something crazy. I'm kind of the one that keeps things moving along. You'll see that I kind of push the videos forward, keep everybody on task. And then Daddy Seed is usually the one who's like, I'm gonna just give you a little spoiler. He's probably not winning too many challenges on our challenge channel because if the food isn't what he wants it to be, he's gonna quit. Or if he has to stay up too late, like we're doing a 24-hour challenge, he's not here for that. So that's his character. And it makes it funny, but your audience knows what to expect when they come back to the channel and they get to love those characters. So figure out what character you are bringing to the table. And that's all a part of storytelling, right? In any of your storytelling research that you've done throughout school, character is a big aspect of it. So it's the same thing in your YouTube videos. And then the fourth thing is to know your capabilities. So for instance, you might want to fill your house up with 10 million Orbeez. But if your husband's not going to be here for it or your wife's not going to be here for it, you probably want to rethink that. How are you going to get those Orbeez out of the house? You might not be ready for that, okay? So you got to know what you're capable of. You want to be conscious of the budget that you are expending on your channel because you can really do some crazy things and spend a lot of money. But if we aren't at the point where we're making that money yet, we want to be smart with our spending, right? Yo, look at this good sun God is giving me right now. I should really just go do a photo shoot. Okay. So you are going to take those 4 steps and apply them for your homework. And now you're going to have a notebook full of ideas, of content, of videos that you can make for your YouTube business. So what are you going to do when you get that notebook full of ideas? What you going to do with it? I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to come back to the next episode of the In the Company of My Kids podcast because in it, I'm going to be telling you exactly what you need to do with your new content ideas to ensure that you have the proper mix and proper videos to place on your channel for a full month. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you back here building businesses one family at a time.